welcome back to the Versatile PC channel. Today we were doing some benchmarking using the brand new game, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. We did some benchmark testing using 5 different GPUs today. First video we did a 4080 Super. We used the MSI Ventus overclock model. It's actually this PC that's right here. We used the MSI B650-P Wi-Fi motherboard, paired with the Ryzen 7 7700X. This Corsair Vengeance 6000 CL30 memory in it, and RAM. Cooler Master 360, the Cooler Master 360 AIO. Corsair 1000 watt power supply with the 24 pin cables for that power supply. And we used the Battle.net version of BO6 because you can get it on Steam and you can also get it on Xbox Game Pass or PC. But we used the Battle.net version of the game just to keep the parity across the board for each different setup. So let's jump into the benchmarks. So we're going to go through the benchmark results of the 4080 Super paired with the 7700X, 32 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance, 6000 megahertz CL30, 4080 Super. So we might throw in some of that zombies footage too. That's what we used to warm up for about 20 minutes in zombies. Warm up everything, get everything warmed up, everything ready to, everything up to operating temperature, which you're going to see actually like when you're playing. Okay, so you can see it's 20 by 1080p. Refresh rate of 240 megahertz on this monitor. This is a 1440p monitor. We just downscaled it to 1080p, so it's going to look a little weird. This had HDR on. It doesn't affect performance, but it does affect the overall visuals. So you see some of the results here. So our average FPS was 212. Our lowest fifth was 176 FPS. Our lowest first was 164, and our server latency and stuff. That doesn't matter because we weren't using it. But yeah, this is the specs of it. So Ryzen 7 4080 Super. The driver we were using was a 56603, and then Windows we were using 23H2. So again, average FPS lowest 200, bottlenecks 30%, 69% temperature, peak temperature. Then we're gonna go over each zone here in a second. Alright, so zone 1. Oh, this is all of them. Again, all of them. This is what we use. VRAM usage is, and the resolution usage is actually high. Texture resolution CPU was medium. VRAM was high. So see all that results. Again, 31%. In the first zone, that was the beginning. If you see the top bar at the top, there's these little zones it's going through. So that's this result, the first one. 188 average FPS, lowest was 153. And then, yeah, so we had 7% bottleneck with the CPU and 93%. So we're mostly utilizing the GPU through the test. And then there's that. Then zone 2, 205 average FPS. Now save all that information. Say 4%. So use a little bit more CPU in this part. Zone 3. Again, now we're using a lot more CPU, but we're also using GPU also. That's what it seems like this benchmark does. The map that it uses, is it Lowtown? Does seem like a map that is very very demanding. So if you play the game, you'll actually see a little bit higher frame rate than this on some of the other multiplayer maps. But this was the ultra quality preset. We didn't use the extreme, we used the ultra quality preset. Now this is 1440p results. Let it play through and then I'll be back. Alright, so we're going to go over 1440p results. Again, the same setup. This is on the ultra quality preset. Upscaling disabled, no upscaling at all. So again, we have 172 average FPS, 139 of those 131 FPS. What else? Yeah, so again, 1440p. Same monitor we were using before, but so yeah, the same monitor, everything else. So we go through all the zones real quick, so you can go ahead and look at all this if you want to. Again, average FPS 148, 224. But again, yeah, this is 191 average FPS in zone 4. You can go pause through and see if you want to see any other information. 100% bottleneck in zone 5 on the GPU, so that we were leveraging that pretty hard. Let it play. Let's go with the results here. So this would be our recommended quality settings. So we'll show those at the end, I believe. If not, we'll go over and we'll make one. So again, now we upped our average FPS to 222, 173, 158, 69% bottleneck, a little bit more GPU utilization in all the zones. Yeah, it was 1440p. Yeah, 1440p. Actually, let's go back to this part. Let's go to some stuff here first. Alright, so 1440p. So 1440p are recommended settings, and now we do have upscaling and sharpness on Fidelity X effects. I personally, in this game, I do not use DLSS or FSR, but some people do use either one, so it's up to you if you want the extra frame rate, but it does add input latency. Same version of Windows, same graphics drivers, same system specs, but these are just our recommended settings. We'll go over those at the end. Now, yeah, we have average FPS is now higher. Zone 1, 203 average FPS. Zone 2, 218 average. So now we're getting into over 200 FPS. Zone 100, zone 190, zone 3. Zone 4, 256. And zone 5, 227 average FPS. Settings, which we're going to look at, your display mode. The game. Alright, so your display mode, you want that to be full screen exclusive. To get higher frame rate, you could do full screen borderless if you tab in and out a lot, but for just normal gamers, full screen exclusive. Your monitor, display monitor, whatever your monitor you're using. Your graphics, your display adapter, you want it to be whatever graphics card you are using. So if you're using a 3080 Ti in this case, you're using 4080 or 4090 or whatever you have. Screen refresh rate, you want this to be the highest possible. So if you have a 240 hertz monitor, you want it to be 240 hertz. If you have a 144 hertz monitor, you want it to be 144 or 143.995, whatever. 120 hertz monitor, 119, 60 hertz monitor. Display resolution, you want it to be whatever your monitor is. So mine's 1440p. Aspect ratio, that's automatic, or you can change it if you want it. You restart your shaders. You would do this after you're done with doing all these settings. Display gamma, it says right here, sRGB is usually used for monitors, and BT1886 is for a TV. So if you're on consoles, maybe you use the other one. But if you're playing on a monitor, you'd use the 22 sRGB. Gamma and brightness, you could change this all you want. I keep mine at 55, but you can put it wherever you want. NVIDIA reflex low latency. Now this will only be here if you have an NVIDIA card. So if you're GPU bottlenecked, you want to put it on, turn on. If you're CPU bottlenecked, you want to turn on plus boost. I personally just leave it on plus boost. I keep everything boost clocked already on. So basically, it just runs everything up. It keeps everything spooled up longer. Then if you turn it off, it just makes it to where it just makes everything low latency. So I could technically change it, but so yeah, if you see this, right, NVIDIA Reflex is used to reduce system latency, which increases PC responsiveness. That's what you're basically looking for. Eco mode custom, you can turn it to, if I just read on custom. Who cares about your power bill? No, I'm just kidding. VSync in gameplay menus and VSync gameplay. I turn that off. VSync in menus, you can turn that on if you want your frame rate menu to be lower. Custom frame rate, I turn it on unlimited. So the frame cap of the engine is 300. Menus, you could turn that on like 110, 100, 100, or say even 60 if you want to. Keep everything lower because of, keep everything cooler when you're not just in idle menus, stuff like that. Native menu resolution, I put native, but you can put whatever optimal. It tells you what it reduces, but I just keep mine at native. And then pause game rendering is off. Reduce quality when inactive off. Focus mode is off. HDR, I generally do play with actually HDR on sometimes, but I don't always. That just helps increase visuals. Okay, now this is where you're gonna look at your quality preset. Your quality settings is what you're gonna look at. So in our benchmarking for our ultra preset, we were using this one. We did not use extreme, we used ultra, and then just turned off upscaling. For graphics preset, so we're going to use 100% of our render resolution, so we're using 1440p. Dynamic resolution, we want that off, so that this matters here. Upscaling sharpness, we turn it off. Actually, I actually use Fairlight FX Cache. Some people do use FSR if you want an extra little bit of frame rate, but it does increase your overall system latency. If you have an NVIDIA card, some people do use GLSS, but I use this one. It just helps the image become sharper, looks better. VRAM scale, depending on your graphics card, is how much I would use the VRAM. So if you have a 12 gigabyte VRAM card, I would put it to 70 to 80 and no higher, because at 80 you might get some micro stutters or some stuttering. On a 16 gigabyte card, I would use 90% or more. If you have like 24 gigabyte card, I'd use 90%. If you have a 8 gigabyte card, I would run it 50 to about 65, whatever you can stand visually, because you'll get stutters, and the game uses, the max I've ever seen is up to like 10 gigabytes of VRAM. So if your card obviously doesn't have 10 gigabytes of VRAM, it's going to struggle. So the higher higher your VRAM is, the higher I would let it do. Variable shading rate. Variable rate shading, I would turn this on because this actually helps boost your FPS a little bit. Text resolution, I put mine on low, or actually on normal. I put mine on normal. This is usually high. So your text resolution is normal. Your filter anisotropic is on high. Depth of field off. Detail quality low. Particle resolution very low. Impacts and sprays. Bullet impact, you can turn this on or off. If you want to see recoil patterns, you can turn it on or off. It's up to you. I personally put mine off. Persistence effects, I turn this off. Again, restarting this game will make it take effect. It does help. It doesn't necessarily hurt frame rate. It does hurt frame rate just a touch, but it does help. It hurts a lot more visual quality than anything. Shader quality, I turn that low. Automated texture streaming, I turn mine to minimal. Some people put optimize and then just turn it down to all the way down to a low, and then download limits, they turn it off. But your allocated texture cache size, turn it all the way down. So whatever you put this, just turn this all the way down. Low cultivated texture streaming, put that on low. Shadow quality very low. Screen shadows off. Occlusion off. Screen space reflections off. Static reflections low. Tessellation off. Volumetric low. Friend physics off. Water grade off. And water quality is off. Alright, so for your view, motion reduction preset. So I turn this off. I don't know if you have to turn this on, but yeah. Field of view, I turn mine at 120. You can put 105, 115, or keep it at stock 80. ADS view affected. Weapon field of view is wide. Third person point of view is 90. Vehicle wide, motion blur, both of them, weapon and world, are both off. Camera shake, both first and third person are both off. Camera movement, third person ADS transition, and inverted flashbang is off for me. You could technically turn this on if you wanted to. Actually, it might be worth turning it on with people flashing nowadays. Might be worth turning it on so you don't go blinded. So I actually want to turn it off now. All right.